Florence, Alabama. We are also hosting a watch party for you in Long Island, New York. That's where our David Zier is right now. We're going to check in with him as he's waiting for folks to show up there. David, kind of what can folks expect there at this watch party? Set the scene for us, if you don't mind.
Well, we're at the America First Warehouse and Media Campus. This place is extraordinary. It is full of nostalgia, you know, from American politics. It's been a meeting place of ideas for a couple of years here. And really Long Island's movement, which had a huge red wave last November, in population of 2.8 million people here, we went about 90% to the red side because of the actions of the America First Warehouse, the Loud Majority, and the Patriot groups, who've all organized and converged on this location. So, you know, listen, people are looking for a message of hope out there, and they're getting slammed, especially in the Northeast, where we're dependent on home heating oil, and our natural gas prices are through the roof too. You know, if you're on a static income and you're on a pension, you're really getting hammered right now. But we expect an exciting crowd tonight. The weather's very bad up here, just like down in South Carolina. We've got snow and 50-mile-an-hour gust coming, but I think this place is going to pack out anyway.
Tell me about this warehouse. You piqued my interest there, and it looks like you got a lot of good stuff behind you. Tell me about this warehouse.
Joe the Box owns this place, and it is just full of memorabilia, and they keep changing it around. They're doing, you know, some production out of there. We've been doing some live hits from here, but it's a festive kind of setting with high tops and, you know, some food and, non-alcoholic beverages. But, you know, it's a place for families to converge, to vent, to be free from censorship, and to, you know, get out for the night and create a grassroots movement on the ground. They host political fundraisers here. They've got, you know, groups here that assemble, you know, to exercise their free speech. It's pretty incredible because, you know, we've had victories here on Long Island against local school boards that were, you know, being held hostage to CRT curricula and stuff like that. So Long Island is kind of setting the pace, the Loud Majority here in Long Island. You know, we've had truck rallies and, you know, with 40,000 people and cars over the last 2 years. We've been fighting the mask mandates, which were just lifted, and nobody knows better than us about being punished for the last 2 years, you know, for being, say, to the right or having a business, opening the gates for our crews every morning. You know, people are looking for a voice out there because nobody represents these people anymore, apparently. And even on the Republican side, you know, we're keeping their feet to the fire. Just because they win doesn't mean that they're going to affect change. So we're making sure.
You know, David, I was just listening to you, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, when I think of New York City, I think of a Democrat-led city. Long Island, of course, is just off of New York City. But is there really that much of a difference? Is there that much of a change in attitude once you cross the bridge or take the ferry, for whichever?
New York City is a disaster. Crime on the subway alone, violent crime, is up 200% just in the last 2 weeks. It's up 125% since January 1st, just in parts of Queens. It's up 52% violent crime in Soho, the richest neighborhood in New York City. The highest Republican vote getter got about 18% in the November elections in the 5 boroughs of New York City, whereas 90% of the elections out here, you know, in the suburban part of Long Island, outside of New York City, went red. So, yeah, there's a gross disparity. There's no leadership in the city. The Bronx is a shooting gallery. It's very sad. And, you know, carjackings are up 4,000% in northern Manhattan since 2018. So, yeah, definitely a big disparity. And the problem is we have Lee Zeldin running for governor of New York as a Republican. He has to get like another 7 to 10% of the New York City vote in order to pull this election off. It's going to be very hard to do. But the Asian population, sick of the woke schools punishing their kids for not getting into private schools, you know, because kids who don't perform as well are jumping the line. And then, you know, say the Dominican population in the Bronx in New York City, very frustrated with the government, people getting killed. People are setting up shop outside of their stores and bodegas, and there's no rules, there's no law and order. So there is a swing, you know, to the right in New York City. I don't know if it'll be enough, though.
Thank you for clearing that up, because that's been something that's been on my mind for quite some time. Before I let you go, David, what time does your watch party start? How many folks are you expecting?
Well, the last time we had the watch party here, we had 200 to 300 people. There are inclement conditions, inclement weather, but we expect a full house today. These people are business owners. They come from all walks of life. We expect, 100, 200 people here at least tonight in this location, and we'll be bringing you live hits all night.
All right, David, I'm looking forward to it. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend, and we'll check back with you here in just a little bit.
Thank you so much, Terrence.
All right, thank you. David Zier, once again, reporting from Long Island, New York. He's hosting a watch party that starts at 6 p.m. For those of you who might be interested, you may want to go check that out. We're going to take another quick break.